More on today's market action. Let's go to Courtney Donohoe at the New York Stock Exchange. Courtney.
Well, Pimm, you were talking about Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke, and he's seeing the need for further action. He said the move's needed because unemployment's too high at nearly 10% and inflation too low below the Fed's target range. And speaking of inflation, we've got the CPI report on the cost of living in the U.S., but this report showing that consumers are just not spending, so it's difficult for companies to raise prices. For example, Target and Walmart, they're some of the retailers offering more discounted items to bring in those shoppers. CPI rising 0.1%. That was less than forecast, but this lower than expected inflation number backing the case that the Fed may need to step in with stimulus. Bernanke didn't give any new details on how the Fed would undertake quantitative easing or give any assurance that the central bank will act at its next meeting coming up in November. But U.S. stocks, they initially got a pop from Bernanke's statement. Stocks turned lower after the University of Michigan report on consumer confidence, and that came in worse than expected. The Dow finishing lower, but the S&P moving slightly higher. Pimm.
Now, Courtney, one group of stocks that did rally today, technology shares. Tell us about the big movers.
Yeah, well, Google saying that it saw strength in every major product area for the third quarter. Third quarter net income soaring 32%. Google's trying to deal with more competition from Facebook and also from Microsoft, so they're looking for more sources of cash. And another reason why we saw tech stocks move higher, that's Seagate Technologies, TPG Capital, and KKR. They're in talks to acquire the disk drive maker. Private equity firms, they're considering an offer of about $16 a share, and that would value the company at about $7.5 billion. But people familiar telling us the firms may be looking for other buyout funds as partners. Now, Seagate said yesterday it was in talks to be taken private without identifying the parties involved. And as one analyst told us, Seagate's buyout, that's shaking up the tech industry, and we'll see more M&A with the boom in smartphones and also with tablet PCs.
All right, I want to thank you very much, Courtney Donohoe, reporting from the New York Stock Exchange.